Hey guys, welcome to Michelle's Opinions, open format, getting to know you. Hang on a second while I pull up the chat on my homepage and I will be right with you. Circus song, yes. Okay, today my secondary is my husband. And he's going to be monitoring the chat and also doing name shout outs. To all you lovely people, as people are emailing in to come on for 5 minutes and talk about what they've learned or what's going on with them. And my email address is in the show more notes. That is the email that I will be checking. I actually have it up, so I will actually see the number change when somebody sends in that they're wanting to come on live and say hi. Doesn't matter if you've come on before or not, because as we know, every day we grow. Now, last night I went on live and I wanted to read those articles to everybody about, indigo, crystal, and rainbow children. And I actually see a lot of similarities in that with the Dolores Cannon, first wave, second wave, third wave. Also, I read about, people who are gifted who just don't even know that they're gifted yet. And they're learning to understand these abilities that are within them. Hi, Simba. Hi, Jane. Hi, Rainbow Phoenix. Okay, so what I want to talk about first, you guys, this weird stuff just, comes around into my noodle as pieces are being put together. I remember living on the Sagittarius arm. And then my husband and I both agree that we were moved. It felt, like we were moved. Things started for me in 2001, okay, which was interesting because that's when rainbow children were supposedly born, 2000 and after. And then they say that indigo, are the older one, and then there's the crystal that would come from like an indigo, and then the rainbow that would come from like a crystal. Okay. Think of it like this, guys. In my opinion, I think the indigos had the hardest work because they had to trudge that path. In a very dark and bleak time, they were, trudging out and shining their light and, bringing unconditional love to this place and making the path easier to see. And then the crystals come along and they have their bright light. And again, way showers, trudging it out, and making that path even easier for others to follow. And when rainbow children come, they can just come and just shine that beacon of unconditional love. Because of the hard work that crystal or indigo people would have done beforehand. So with that, I also think about what Dolores Cannon says, that, people were called and they volunteered and they came. Well, it just seems like 2012, we were moved to the Orion Spur, where we remember being on the Sagittarius arm. Did we raise our hand up and volunteer to come in? Possibly. And so did you. And I think that one of the most wonderful things that's happening for us at this time is that we're finding one another and we're able to, share what we know and listen so we grow and hear those synchronicities that are going on in so many people, where I have to tell you, my friends, it was pretty lonely. It was a lonely walk. Think you're losing your mind. A lot of things are going on. And in that list of you could be gifted that I did last night, it talks about people that have these odd things happening, but truly they're enlightened and people just don't understand it. Rainbow Phoenix contact, and we will have a call in Hangouts. Yeah, I am in Hangouts now, so if you're interested in popping on for 5 minutes, send me an email. Even if you've emailed me before, I need a fresh email from you, so that way it'll pop up the number, so then I can give you the link to come into this one. I am always setting up a brand new Hangout for every show that I do, because that's just the safest way to go, that people don't get confused and pop on accident and oops, when the timing isn't right. So I will type in my email address in here so you guys can see it. Oops. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Simba. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you very, very much for putting that in there for me. And at the time that I made that email address, I was very indoctrinated and I didn't understand what was going on. All I knew was that the world seemed upside down and inverted. Everything seemed so backwards. So, and that was 2012. And my husband and I are pretty much in agreement on it. 2012, we came in and this was a very, very different situation. And what we would call miracles, these manifestations going on, the things that we were going through were just absolutely amazing. Because there's no putting words on this, what is going on within each and every single one of us. Okay. Henny, you want to do name shout outs? I'm going to check the email and go from there.
Hello, everybody.
You don't have to yell. You just blew my eardrums out, you guys.
I'm over here.
And that would be Silent J.
It's Simba, J-Nell, Rainbow Phoenix, Silent J.
That's you.
Ivy. Kenya. And that's it.
Okay, Laszlo. I have sent you a link to come on in so you can share what you know. And the link is in your email inbox. So let's see what you got to share with everybody. Guys, what do you think about that? Do you feel, how many of you guys remember being on the Sagittarius arm? That's not where we're at anymore. And with the N in front of her name, it's called Simba, like from the Lion King.
Silent.
It's silent, just like Silent J is. Yes. So while he's checking his email to come on in, and by the way, we will work out technical difficulties where he'll be on his own system. He's just looking at the tablet now to see who's all out there, and then we'll have his computer up and going. Yeah. Me too. I wonder, what they think happened to us. Did we just poof disappear, or are we still there, but what people would call a non-participant player? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Simba, was that you that sent the email? Sorry, I don't. When you send in your email, let me know what you prefer to be called online, so I don't encroach on what on your hygiene, your online hygiene. It's very, very important to me that you come on and you're anonymous, and that part is sacred. Oh, okay, Simba. Okay. And guys, well, I better set that up where I can see it right.
Jay Nell sent an email to Rainbow.
Okay. He does not want to come on, right? He doesn't want to be first. Okay. We'll bring in somebody else that I know will come on in. And then he can come in second. So check your emails, guys. I just keep them open so that way I can tell by the numbers that a new email has come in or not. So, and like I said, if you've already been on, it doesn't matter because we're constantly growing. We're constantly coming into new understandings daily. So, yeah. And as for the Sagittarius Iron people, I think they'll be okay. It's nothing to worry about because if you think about everything seems to be saying you gotta mute the live stream.
All closed. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can. But you need to mute your or just turn down the volume on the live stream.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how to turn that down. I will try not to talk loud. I don't know. Let me see. Oh, control room.
No, just on where you were watching the live stream. Just you can either turn the volume down or just click mute so that you can hear everything right here through your Hangouts. Because I want you to be able to still engage with the chat. But I'm not hearing the echo anymore, so whatever you did worked. Hello, Miss Rainbow. How are you? You shouldn't have turned yourself all the way down in Hangouts, sweetheart. Turn yourself back up in Hangouts, the only volume that you need.
Turned up in Hangouts. Where do I closed the other page altogether. There's no YouTube open, I don't think.
Oh, well, I don't hear the echo anymore. You're good. So what's going on with you?
Yay. What I've been doing is I've been checking out the my auras.
Cool.
I never knew what color they were. I mean, I was told once by that guy, that my aura was yellow, but I just kept walking past him, and I didn't know what that meant at the time. I was a teenager. So I've been looking into all of that, and then when you went live late last night, I was like, rainbow children, crystal children, I've heard all this talk about that. Oh, I want to know which one I'm supposed to be. And it turns out I'm a mutt.
I noticed that when I was reading them, that the giftings seem very similar in each of those categories. It's just broken down by age groups. And what I'm finding, within my own research is that like an indigo would be the older people, okay? But they had like the harder job to do because they had to trudge down that path. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was and still is a very hard path. So you're welcome, world. I paved the way for you. And it was not an easy task, and most of the time it seemed that it was thankless. But it needed to be done, and I could totally see myself, saying, "Oh, here am I, send me, I got this, I can help." And then I get here and, yeah, I have the ability to help, but family members and friends at the time didn't seem to give a flying flip, you know. So I had to eventually come to the conclusion, whenever asked a question or being drugged into an argument, do you want me to tell you the truth or do you want me to lie to you? Because if you want me to lie to you, you've asked the wrong person. Don't ask me if you look fat in those pants. You asked me if you look fat in those pants because you know already you look fat in those pants. So don't ask me and then get mad at me when I say yes. Are you sure you bought the right size? I mean, I even say it comedically, you know, to try to make them laugh too, you know. Um, but it just doesn't always work. So
Well, don't ask for the truth if you don't want it.
don't ask. Careful what you ask for. You just might get it. You know, it's like with the whole what they're calling the Mandela effect, which in my eyes is the Messiah effect. As we wake up, we are becoming Messiah material.
Christ consciousness. I get that.
And yeah, Christ consciousness. And so, you know, everybody's like, we need to all get together and make these groups and focus on changing the world for the better. Well, we don't exactly know what changing the world for the better looks like. So as we change ourselves, we're changing the world. So Mandela effect. Don't turn around when things start changing and the way things were spelled and used before aren't being spelled and used that way anymore. Don't go making videos against it talking about, oh, the elite, the elite. No, it's us.
Hey, hang on, Rainbow. Jane L. Boy, do I need a friend like you when I go shopping. LOL. Let me just say some hellos to some new peeps in the room. We got Cowboy in the house. Hello. This is open format. So the email is in the description box. Send me an email. I'll send you the Hangout links and come on for about 5 minutes. And as one is coming in, then the person that's on will graciously, step out. So we'll see. We'll try and do this as a smooth transition and share with each other. So I just wanted to tell you what she said because that was just too funny.
That is pretty hilarious right there. Yes, it is. I would be honest with her.
Okay, well, those mirrors. Okay, I want to talk. Let's talk a little 3D. When you go to certain stores, they have those funny mirrors that make you look better in things. Then you get home and you're like, what? I look terrible in this, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a store that I shop in that no matter what I put on, everything looks terrible on me. So I'm like, all right, I can't buy anything there because everything looks terrible.
Yeah.
I keep getting gift cards to go there. And, maybe it's just, I just need to try them on. If they feel good when they fit, they fit good, they feel right, I'm comfortable in them, just buy them and not worry about what their mirrors are reflecting back. I don't know.
Right.
But they put those trick mirrors in some of those places so you'll look good or taller and slimmer, or and then you get home and you're like, wait a minute, my butt looks way too big in these pants. What's going on?
Yeah. For me, being, at the time, growing up, now it's easy to buy clothes. I know my size now. Well, as long as I try them on and they fit, it's all good. But when I was younger, before I got pregnant, I was 36, 24, 36, and 114 pounds. So try to find clothes for stick people, not easy.
I want to see something here. I want to see if I don't know what your YouTube screen name is, but the gentleman that sent me the email, I want to see if you're able to type in the chat and I can see it. Hello, beware of all. Because he said he's not able to type in the chat, and I'm looking for that because part of this outreach is, if they're not saying anything racial or YouTube, I've set up some settings that it will catch some and do the show hide for moderators, but nobody should be banned from speaking their voice if it's appropriate and respectful and it's truly something that they're going through. I don't want the moderators to be banning people. just because maybe they don't like them or something going on. So I noticed that on another stream I was on, it broke my heart because this person is absolutely wonderful, but none of her friends were able to talk because somebody kept banning, and everybody's a moderator in there, and they kept banning all the moderators so they couldn't talk to her. It was terrible. So I want to see if you can't chat. If you try to chat and you can't, please send me another email and let me know that you are not able to chat, and we'll get to the bottom of it. And let's see. Okay, Beware of All says, hello, all. Michelle, thank you for doing the show. Aw. And Jane L. Oh, she's talking to Cowboy. Okay. And Cowboy's talking back to her. Okay. Okay. I won't interrupt other people's conversations that are going on. Okay. So are you okay? The email that came through, that is you, and you're okay now, and everything's good, and you're able to talk. Beware of all. Okay. Good. Yes, that's right. But they can still, a moderator can remove a comment or can time somebody out for 300 seconds, or they can do certain things. The only one that can ban from the channel is myself, and I have not banned anybody. I haven't had to come across that because the right people are being drawn to this information that we're putting out, and everybody's such beautiful, loving souls. And sometimes we're just confused about what's going on. So, it helps. It really helps to just go places where these things are reinforced within you instead of squashed down out of you.
Yes, agreed.
So you're doing some videos on auras, and you've done, I caught one where you were doing it on the golden aura. I only caught a little bit of it. What did you find out with that?
Well, it basically means that you are very close to being an ascended being, which I've always felt like ever since I was a little kid and had that first thought. And so then after somebody was finally able to spot my colors and gold jumped out the most, I went to Googling, because I could always relate to Christ being crucified on the cross for no good reason, because that was my life in that house with those people I called family. But, now I'm spiritually evolving, and I know that there is healing and forgiveness for myself. For some reason, I find it easier to forgive, people that have hurt me, that I've, met and lost on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. It's easier to forgive newbies than it is to forgive the family that did all the damage in the first place. And so at least I know where the problem is. And so now I can go in and surgically remove that.
And that was a big part of it, was to forgive myself and to forgive others. I actually did a video on it about karma and how what with the energies that we're putting out of anger and things like that, how they have the saying, well, that'll come back on you threefold, sevenfold, tenfold. Well, the bitterness that you carry with you, actually takes a lot out of you. It'll impact them, yes, but slightly. But the most impact that it has is on yourself. So I don't know if you've seen that one that I did. It was, I put out so much content. I had so much to say. So, and I'm only just a little over a couple months old, and there's all different kinds of topics. They're short, but they're to the point. So maybe that, if you're interested, a rainbow, that might be something you want to look at, because when we talked the other day, that was one of the things I asked you was, have you forgiven them? And you are so right. It's going to launch you so far beyond where you are at. I mean, you're limitless. You're absolutely limitless. The only limitations we put are on ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah, I gotta stop doing that. So at least as long as I know that there's room for change.
Oh, I'm trying to. Yeah, I can hear you just fine. It's my tablet's not wanting to show me the chat. Okay. Proceed. Okay, you did gold. And then you learned that. And I'm gonna do. I've noticed in a lot of paintings, and I'm sure you have too, that golden aura around their head. And I'm gonna do a video on that and what that symbolizes. And it's very, very interesting that certain paintings. It makes me think that this is not a new thing. This is just something that we are remembering, something that's been lost along the way that's coming back to us now. I mean, it's just an amazing time to be alive. It just really is.
Yeah. Now, if you watch Ancient Aliens, they would say, "Oh, it's a spaceman. That's his helmet." Okay, you
No.
have fun with that. Oh, really?
No, that's not what that means at all. As Joanne can see in colors, and I mean not black and white. I mean she sees in rainbow colors. She can see auras. It is a gift that is being restored in a lot of us. It takes a little bit of time for people like me to get, I get these new gifts, and then it takes a little time to get, even the basic foundational understanding of it, and then I'm learning to apply it in my life. And if you're right, it's life changing.
Yeah.
Jane L. I think Jane L says to Rainbow Phoenix, I think the ancient alien show is a joke.
It is. And I actually seemingly believe that craziness. And I'm sorry, I feel like put the crack pipe down and walk away and go research it again because you missed something the first time.
Yes. Beware of all. I've already sent you the link, and you can come on in. Rainbow, we pretty much talked about what she's doing, what's going on with her, and this is open format. So when you're ready to come in, when you pop in, she'll say her goodbyes, and then she'll pop out and go back into the live stream, and we'll talk to you for a little bit. So just come on in. And I am keeping an eye on my email to see if there's any other new people that want to get brave enough to come on in and share what they know.
Well, hopefully, as long as they can remember that you usually try to let people know that you can just show your avatar. You don't have to, if you're having a bad hair day or something, you don't have to show yourself.
That's
just,
right.
Just bring your voice.
On open format, come in as your avatar. When we do interviews, those are more planned, so you're more prepared. So yes, that's Cowboy. Yeah, pop on in, and I didn't even know you had a channel, so we'll talk about that when you come in, and I'll go check you out, and I would love to. I would love to go, be on your stream. Absolutely. And I only refused the one because I had many reasons for, not wanting to do that. Okay, beware of all. Are you coming in?
He said, "Be right back. He's got food cooking."
No, he said back.
Oh, he's back.
He said he's back.
I'm behind.
You're behind? Are you a little behind?
Yeah.
He's a big behind. And Cowboy, send me an email real quick. And let's bring you on. Like I said, come in as your avatar. That's fine. Let's just have a getting to know you. Yeah. And then of course, then I'll also want you to put when we're done, email me your channel link so I can go check you out. Yes. Come on, guys. Braven up. Let's go.
Yeah, come on. Bring them 33 discs and send her an email. That's fine.
I'm sure it would. I heard you, Cowboy. You would love for me to be on your stream too. Sure. Yeah.
I think I just now subbed everybody that I just saw for the first time ever that I wasn't already subbed to, so I think I'm good.
Okay, he said give him a few minutes. He's multitasking. And the other person already has the link, so if they get brave enough and want to pop in, I think they have food cooking too, but multitasking. We are always multitasking. And I like to keep these at like an hour, or it depends on how many people are, wanting to come on. Then I'll go up to an hour and a half, depending on, how many, so it will vary based on the response. And I know that there are a lot of people who are camera shy, being one of those people myself. I'm overcoming this with the help of you guys, which is absolutely wonderful. And yeah, so I get it. I completely get it.
Yeah, me too.
On this open format, this is you don't have to show. You to come on as your emoji and just share a little bit about whatever you want to talk about. We're just getting to know each other.
I'm not like most people. I don't cry because a video's too long. If the topic is good and the conversation is even better and it goes deep, I'm like, bring on the 2-3 hour video. I can't get enough.
Well, I'll float in a stream and lose track of time. But to go back and watch a video that was a couple hours long, I just don't have the time to do that. And
I do. I watched the video that you did last night. I watched it again before I could go to bed.
Wow. So like must have really impacted you.
4:44 when I went to bed, yeah.
4:44.
Yes, 4:44.
And that's the one on the crystal children. And I didn't really talk much about Indigo, but let's talk about that.
It was something we covered. Oh yeah.
Indigos would be the older ones. They would be the pathfinders, the way showers, the light bringers. They would be the ones that were born first. They would be the older people. I would say between 40 and 40 and 55 years of age. Most of them have children of their own, and then their children possibly are what we would call crystal children. And then from the crystal children, then we have the rainbow children. And so the crystal children, a lot of times they don't even get married or have children, but they can, because of that age group would be right under what would be called an indigo. And still, there's a lot of heavy lifting with crystal people. And then the rainbow children are born into a world that is lighter because of the hard work has been done by the indigos and the crystals, which goes along with what Dolores Cannon says is the 3 waves of volunteers. I find it so fascinating when I hear the comparisons and just the different ways people describe things. Doesn't make any of them better than or less than. It just means some of them had a lot of harder work to do when the world is so dark, and they're here to shine light and bring peace and unconditional love. It's just an amazing time to be alive. And even with, and this is something to think about. I'll throw this at you, Rainbow, and see what you have to say on it. And that is, when we're born from above, not our natural birth, but are actually being born from above, that would that have a bearing on whether you're an indigo, a crystal? Like if you've been awakened your entire life and you're in between, your 40s and mid 50s, well, then you would be an indigo because you were, but when your spiritual eyes were opened, and all of this came back into your remembrance, it's just something to think about. We always think of everything as our natural physical birth. I look at things a little differently now from a different perspective, that it could have to do with our spiritual birth, what I would call the Holy Spirit baptism or spiritual cleansing, or, where all of a sudden you feel like you're lifting off the ground. And that's when we popped over into this Orion spur, where my husband and I were both on the Sagittarius arm before we knew that. And now, it's in the science and everything about that we're on the Orion spur. How they know these things, I don't know. I can't verify that, what spur, what arm, or any of that we are in the universe. But maybe it's not that is being said in that. Maybe because the Orion spur is so much closer to source, which is the sun, maybe that has it's a parable in some way for us to be able to figure out. Okay, Jane L. I could never go one. I doubt myself on everything, and I have a husband that won't leave me alone. Oh, yeah. Well, for you, Jane, what I would suggest is to find a space that is just your very own, whether you like swimming, whether you just, go to your computer and turn on some music and just balance yourself out, because you need to know who and what you are and get your morphogenetic field, your house, in order, and all else will be added to you. Okay, we've got somebody new in the room, so thank you very much, Rainbow. You can, if you have any last thoughts before you pop out, and then we'll get the next person talking.
Well, the only last thought to complete what I said before is be honest with yourself when you look in that mirror. You know.
That's right. Thank you.
Love you all. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, we love you.
I love you.
Beware of All is on with me. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how you doing? Can you hear me well?
I can hear you fine. Can the chat hear him?
Okay. Yeah, I been going through a lot of energies today. I don't know if anybody also has gone through a lot of energies of changes. Yeah, I had a beautiful experience today, which I was praying, and when I was praying, I fell into this sleep, this lucid dreaming, and I was like, it answered all my prayers. And
What
it
did
was
you
like,
see? Do you remember what you saw?
it was no, it was like someone talking to me, telling me everything, comforting me. And then when it finished, I felt like this big load taken off. And it set the rest of my day where I don't even remember how I felt before. So it's very beautiful how God can do these things for you.
Yes, and I have to tell you, my friend, I have been having unusual sleep patterns the past few days. Like, I am sleeping more, but when I'm waking up, you know how if you sleep too much, you feel like you're groggy, and it's like, I'm not. I wake up and I feel energized and wonderful. But yeah, I have been the last few days, I've been sleeping a
Yes,
lot, waking up weird hours and then going back to sleep
yes.
and having just wonderful,
There's a
peaceful rest.
connection. I noticed there's a connection for all those here who do pray and before they meditate, that there is a connection and there is a grace that falls upon you afterwards and during. And then the afterwards it's almost like a hug from God, where He takes you and embraces you. And He gives you the comfort that you need.
And you know what? That is so true. If you've been watching my channel much, I don't know. I know a lot of us are finding each other. but mine was through prayer. And I used the Bible. The Bible is the tool that I use to, bring me through. And at some points of this journey, I felt like I was barely hanging on to the hem of his garment as the old information was getting filtered out and this new information was coming in. But I had what I call love embrace, where all I felt was total unconditional love. It was just being, it felt like a being had gotten close to me, and that's what radiated off of them was just complete unconditional love. And I wanted to stay in that
Yes.
moment forever. I did. Little did I know that that is what we are all becoming.
It is so powerful, the experience. When it brought me to recognize, because I've been studying a lot of different scriptures and like the Christian, the Judeo-Christian, the Talmud, the Arabic Quran. I've been studying Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic, and all the intricate structures of different apocryphal books. Been distillating, which I hope you guys know that term. Distillating is you distill through a process which only God can give to you.
That's what I call the refinement period. Okay.
And then you take all that information, and it has brought me to so much epiphanies where I'm about to form a video which will start talking about what many people in the Eastern world, which is very ancient, it's called the jinns, and which is considered in the Western world the angels. And there's an intricate difference between the spirits and the demons and all that. So there is a correlation which I call the benevolent angels and the fallen angels. So all that plays into it, where they call Haitan, which is Satan, and then here's the fallen angels with the angels that haven't fallen, which we call the Archangel Gabriel and Raphael and many of the other ones. So there's so much information in there that we've been not given because it's really only given to you when you're ready and prepared. It's kind of like tools, and the information really needs to be given by God to you when you're in the moments where you connect truly with God. You'll be
I
able
think you are 100% correct there. Reconnection has to be the first and foremost thing. And in the scriptures, it says, seek ye the kingdom of heaven first, and all else will be added. It's like you get your own house in order. And once you're connected, and then you're not needing, you're no longer need of a teacher because you've got it within you. But then what you do is you find people that are going through the same things, and you get synchronicities. The next one coming in is Cowboy. I've already sent Cowboy the link. So as soon as what do you prefer for me to call you?
No, I'm Lazaro. I am also on another site, which is Transmissions Forever.
Oh, okay.
So,
Transmissions Forever.
This is my site, which I'm building. I'm trying to introduce it, which I'm going to present and document the world which we don't see, which the world we see, which with our black and white rods in our eyes. I'm going to introduce how the spectrum of the eyes dilate our vision that we see, so that we don't see really the angels. There's many factors involved in that, So it's basically we see through the infrared range, and when we see through the infrared range, we actually there you're able to see beyond the vision that we're in. So you can almost see and pierce through dimensions. And a lot of people now, and it's directly associated with the RH negative, RHD negative. It's directly associated also if you're red and green colorblind, which is also associated with RHD negative. And then there's an association directly with that, which allows you to pierce the barrier. So there is a preparation which God does to you, and there are already preordained light workers on the planet, like you say, crystals,
Mhm.
which already have this prepared, and they can see beyond the veil, the things in the, and it
I think
is,
indigos can too. I think
oh
all
yeah,
three of those categories are able to see beyond the veil. You know, when we're in dream state, um, you know, I've often jumped to a place where there's no time there, so it's hard to discern when things are going to happen. But I can see things, and some things don't happen for 2 years. Some things will happen the next day or within the next month. I've seen things in the past. It's amazing. And I do think you're right. You know, anything that's going on within us, God is able to do what needs to be done to get you, you know, all lined out. He can get, you know, he can definitely refine you. We don't need to be
well
hurting
there,
each other. You know, God is, we don't, one thing I know from this experience is I see God in everything, and I
yes, yes.
this infinite design. Everything screams intelligent design. So for 7+ billion people to be having an authentic experience,
I'll
yeah,
t- I'll
it's
tell you
huge.
what. I'll finish with this. I'll tell you what the main key component is your filters. Whatever you establish in your life is what you create. So when you believe through faith that this is something, you create it, and everything around you works in that energy. So whatever you create is what you're gonna receive.
That's
So
right.
your limit it's, and I'll just give this one scripture which it says there was a king once, and I think it's in Micaiah, and it's in the Old Testament, where he asked for 15 years more. And he prayed, and God said, "Okay, I'll give you 15 years more." So when 15 years were up, he passed away, and he asked God, "Why didn't you give me more years?" I says, "Because you only asked for 15 years. I gave you 15 years what you asked, and I gave you fulfilled what you desired. So be be careful what you ask for, that you limit yourself.
Yeah, that you don't limit yourself.
Yes, you don't limit yourself. So
And
my
transmissions, stay on until Cowboy jumps in. You're welcome to keep on speaking. So
okay.
what is your, yeah, when Cowboy comes on, then
So
I'll have you say your advice, and then yeah, so we'll wait on him to pop in, and then
one of the things that I've always said, this is since I was like 18, I'm 52 right now, is don't limit God. Oh my God, don't put limitations on what God. I was, I went through several, I was a 7 day Adventist. That was my first. Before that, I was 16 doing all kinds of TM, transcendental meditation, all kinds of things. I was in Dianetics for about a year. I'm full-fledged Dianetic in all its works. And then I bumped out of that, and then I became a 7 day Adventist. And then I was there for like 12 years. And then I became a Pentecostal, which then, like you had that experience where you felt the spirit within and you spoke many tongues. I said one day when I was in a church, I said, "Look at that. I wonder how that feels because there was someone speaking in tongues. It's very fluent in the Pentecostal community. So when I saw that, that very night, and for 10 years, this is be careful what you ask for. I always say that too. I was speaking in tongues just by closing my eyes. I mean, I will go for 8 to 10. My wife, for many years, had to learn how to sleep while I spoke all night long. And I would wake up in the morning not tired, not thirsty, even though I would put a glass just in case of water. It was I would speak Hebrew, all kinds of languages, and then I would chant. I would
How do you feel right now spiritually? Do you feel lifted up high enough to go ahead and pray in the tongues of angels? Or are you a little shy?
well, yeah, I do. I do speak. I'll tell you what, I refined it to the point where when I would speak, hold on, Ada, go help my father put the microwave of food. So when I would speak, I would then sit down with a person, and the tongue will come out in their language, even if whatever was for them. So that's how you get to learn to refine it to where it's like when the Pentecostal, where you actually they'll speak to the group that's in their languages. So I can speak if you want me, and it'll address the person there. It'll be in the language which they will understand, but not necessarily. It'll be in the spirit where the spirit will understand, which is
Yeah, it's not, and what he's saying is true. It's not gobbledygook. When I had this spiritual awakening happen to me, that's what
okay.
happened. So, and it was not taught in the church I was in. So, it was foreign to both my husband and I. We didn't know what to make of it. But what I found is that, that what would come
Okay.
back to me would be in English, what I'm supposed to understand. But it's
Sometimes it's in the language that you don't understand, but then you feel you get the information. So
yes.
it's in the undiscerned gifts. Mama. Marasitu brosut yoro brasanya glisitu bo. Rasotok yiribrisigi broso. Masiara manaso brakasi subrumta. Ah, okay. So that's I do that a lot at night, and then my wife knows it, and sometimes she wakes up and listens to it all night long, and then she can't. Sometimes she can't touch me because it's like there is a vibration you get
Yes.
when it happens, and it happens to me when I touch the wine, when I have sanctified wine and the bread, and I do the communion, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm grabbing the wine from the fridge, she doesn't touch me because if she touches me, it like the vibrations are too high. It's almost like a shock. So she doesn't. When I'm doing those things, you don't want
She's messing with your morphogenetic field, and you're
to. Yes,
yeah,
it
very
does
charged
happen.
up.
It
Yes.
does happen. You create this field. I think it's more like God gives you the anointing of the moment to do those things, and then you set it up in place, and you're almost like walking with Jesus. It happened to me. So I'm talking 20 years. It's always happened, and believe me, it's real. And I've always done it. And then there's other things that happen. For instance, if you take something like, for instance, the food. I'll give this example for the people to do when there is a field that you have around you.
Hold on,
All you have.
translations.
Okay.
Cowboy, are you going to be joining us live? If not, we're going to skip to the next person. I've got another person waiting behind you. You're welcome to come in now
All
because
right.
transmission is about to finish up.
She
So,
says on the stream, it says that I screen Brazilian. that what it says?
Ice cream Brazilian. I don't know. Yeah, that's what.
Was it
I thought
Brazilian?
it sounded more like Spanish to me.
It was several dialects because I jumped I jumped from German to Brazilian to Portuguese. Yeah, it's Portuguese. That's what she's saying. And then I go also to Hebrew and Spanish and English. So it all goes back and forth the languages. So I hope they got the message that they wanted to the
It's
person.
beautiful. And cowboy, we're not stepping.
Okay,
Okay,
cowboy.
cowboy.
Oh, he got in.
I'll
Okay,
let
this
you.
mute
Uh,
your whatever the stream.
The stream.
Is he in, or is that you? Transmissions.
I'm here. I have my YouTube muted.
I
Cow-
muted myself so that cowboy can talk.
okay, yeah. Oh, great. He is in the room. Great. Okay. Yes. Did you have anything transmissions you wanted to say before you stepped out of the room?
Just the two things that I treasure the most: don't limit the power God has and can give you. And the second thing is, uh, be careful what you ask for because He'll give it to you. Those are the two
Those
beautiful
are
things.
very good. That's good advice, guys. Listen to what he's saying because there's truth in that. If you ask for it, you shall receive. You know, and you know that's why we need to capture our thoughts. We need to think on higher things and be careful what you wish for. All these things, they have a purpose. There's a reason behind them. God will give us whatever it is the desire of our heart. And if that's what you're asking for, an extension of only 15 years, that's all you're going to get. So don't
If you
ask the unlimited for a limited thing. Thank you so much for coming on. Please email me the link to your channel. If you have a channel, so I'd like to go and check it out, and maybe sometime in the future you could come on and do an hour-long interview. That would be wonderful. Thank you for sharing with us. Appreciate it so much.
I can go over, like I say, some of the ancient texts and of all which right right now the Sumerian Bible has been removed. Google removed it. If you didn't know, you cannot find it. It was removed on purpose. And then so now you have to go through about 20 to 30 books to get all the information together and sift through it with so many filters of information distillated. So now it's very difficult now to really see something that was freely given maybe a couple of years ago. So thank you very much. If I'll go ahead and get off the link. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you very
Bless
much.
you much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye all. God bless.
Okay, cowboy, as he's hanging up.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm fairly new to your stream. Probably
Welcome.
just recently. Yeah. Wasn't no intentions of calling in today. Didn't expect to get an invite, but thank you.
Oh, it's open format. You know what? Part of this is I want to get to know everybody because everybody is so important to everybody. People underestimate themselves so much, and the more that people know, the faster this place will change and grow. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself, and yeah, let's get to know Cowboy.
Okay, so first of all, I'm pretty shy when it comes to talking about myself personally, but not shy when it comes to talking. So I guess I've been doing some streams lately in the last, I don't know, maybe 3 months, but I've been in the YouTube community in many different aspects for since September 2015. That's when I was first my eyes were open to everything. So I was one of those people that, like, I knew something was wrong with 9/11, but I wasn't awake at 9/11. But I knew, I could
Right.
tell. I could
Some-
tell from the look on uh, Bush's face. He already knew. I remember that distinctly. That I knew he knew what was going on when he was told on that day. But I wasn't awake. I didn't wake up till.
What do you talk about on your channel?
Oh my gosh, what do I talk about? Oh, anything and everything. So, being that I kind of started doing my streams with the Mandela Effect community, I kind of, well, veered it a little bit, not in the beginning, but I'm slowly veering away from that because I've been down so many rabbit holes in the last 3 years. So it's very random. I don't plan on ever doing a stream. It's just if it comes to me and nobody's streaming, I'll do one. I'll do anything from, I've done Nephilim Bloodline, I've done False Flags. I was on Ran on the Plains and we talked about D-Wave Computer. There's nights that we just do prayers and talk scripture. And then there's nights where it's just off the hook and anything goes. And some of those streams actually don't actually make it up the next day. So I'm all over the place. And
What have you learned about yourself through all of this that you've been going through? Because see, there's a reason we go through these different stages. There's a takeaway from it. What have you, okay, so you've noticed the Mandela effect. You've noticed that there was a problem with 9/11. You've noticed these weird anomalies. You're seeing through the script, so to speak. And what is your where are you at now with the understanding that you have on who you are and what you're able to do?
Okay, so that's a great question, Michelle. And that's kind of where I've been going lately, is because I've been taking it very easy on my streams, because the Mandela effect for me was just a doorway back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've been down so many rabbit holes. And what I guess maybe the easiest way for me to explain where I'm at is that if you look at the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill and you have the one CNI, you have many, you get your sides of the pyramid, and then within that pyramid are different blocks. To me, each of those blocks is a rabbit hole. And I am a big picture person, that I put all of those together for one agenda. And I understand that the struggle that doing streams is that when you start branching out into many different divisions that I'm starting to do now, is that maybe somebody that's affected by the Mandela effect aren't affected by the false flags, or maybe CERN or D-Wave or the Illuminati or the Nephilim bloodline, or, to me, it's all pieces of one puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all pieces of one puzzle that, in order for you to completely understand, you have to put them together.
Yes,
and
we all carry a piece. That's another thing. We each carry a piece. So, and that's why it's so important to me to get to know everybody, because each of us carry a piece to this puzzle. And and we're growing so exponentially in our understanding. It's beautiful. Okay, good. Continue.
And so I teamed up with Jason McFall. Jason McFall and I, we don't agree on 90% of everything, and nobody even knows that, and they couldn't tell. And that was the whole point of our stream, is that we take turns going back and forth, is that because I don't want a channel that everybody likes vanilla ice cream, right? And then why are you here if you like chocolate ice cream? Or what if you're here and you don't even like chocolate ice cream? That's not even the point. The point is to bring everybody together through all these different pieces of the puzzle, and bring, what I'd love to do is bring people in that are much more knowledgeable on pieces of those puzzles. So, you know, maybe if I do a night where I do D-Wave, right? Like I went to Rain on the Plains. Well, she's very technique and had great information on that. And then I bring the more of the common sense side of it, or so forth. Or I've done a stream on, say, false flags, and I brought in people from that's not even within the Mandela community that aren't even affected with the Mandela community, or see it, that are very good at, like Johnny Supertramp and Joe. Joe's on a lot of through Breaking the Matrix. I've been on his streams. So bring people in like that that are very knowledgeable, maybe in the false flags or the Matrix part of it.
Right.
And
everybody holds their posts, and they're all important. I agree with you.
right. And so I'm trying to like bring all of that together to like. So when you ask me where I'm at, Michelle, that's where I'm at. I'm in all of those. I'm in all of those rabbit holes, but I haven't expressed them through any of my streams. But yet I'll go, and I'll comment for many years, maybe in the chat room. But I just started doing the streams, and so I'm slowly like branching out that way.
I like that you're saying that, to me, what you're reflecting is that you're no longer fitting in a box anymore. None of those boxes are working for you. So you're exploring each of them, and you're realizing they're rabbit holes. So they're ways of categorizing, but you're not categorized. You are looking into everything with an open mind and an open heart, because you're seeking the truth no matter what the cost. You want to know.
You're absolutely right. And I don't share a lot of what those rabbit holes are. Recently, I'm starting to do that. So, for instance, I'm looking at like the barges sitting off of Hawaii coast, right? The barges for the camps, and then the Walmart with the Walmart now that's housing children. That's a camp. It used to be a Walmart's. And so, yeah, I go down all those rabbit holes. And so what my goal is to start being more on topic. Like, I could go back and do, 3 or 4 shows just on the Pulse nightclub. But that's kind of old news. But, it still might wake people up. I don't know.
That doesn't seem to matter, because as you know yourself, through the waking and awareness process, what it was important to you, and through your testimony of the things that you've explored, will be important to them too, depending on when their time. Everybody comes up in their season. This is not a one person thing. This is an everybody thing. And I can see why we can't all go through this all at the same time. I'm sure you can too, because there's parts of it where you feel like you're lifting off the ground. There's so much stuff. There's so much going on, with the Mandela effect and all of these false flags, and being able to see that it's acted out. It's a script, and to pull these things apart. When somebody may wake up next week and they stumble across your channel, that could be something brand new for them, and it can help bring them along. So one of the things that I'm trying to do here is to look backwards at where I was at and what would have helped me with if I could have found somebody going through the same symptoms. I went to several churches and talked to pastors. They didn't have the answers for this stuff that was going on with me. I got frustrated with that, because if you're standing in front of the church and teaching us, I would think you would know, right? So I went to the Bible, and I was praying to be led to a church that would be the right fit, but I was just led to the Bible, and then it was in 2015 when my Bible changed. I was reading it and I put in my place marker and I picked it up the next day and went and read it. And when Caesar's image is now on the penny, I was like, what? What just happened here? This is my tool. But I have to say, it still is a very worthy tool, even if it's been Mandela affected. It still shows the condition that we go through and the transformation that we're going through, the refinement. You know, and the scripture talks about us being refined by fire, you know, which all the falseness that's in us needs to come out. And then the truth, you know, comes in and takes its place. So I'm totally with you on, you know, wanting to revisit some of these things, because it could be something very new to somebody that just is now waking up. And instead of having to go down all these rabbit holes and do all the work that you did, if you could put out something on it that could help them move along. Have you noticed that people seem to be moving along faster now than, well, I didn't ask you, how long have you been going through this, you know, digging into rabbit holes and, you know, figuring out it's all a bunch of scripts, false flags? I know you mentioned 9/11, that you weren't quite awake then, but over time you figured that one out. That one kind of struck me as odd, because I know they wanted our energy to get them to go to war. They need our energy, our consent, you know, to get behind it. But they went into Afghanistan to get in one man, right? Which SEAL Team 6 went in and got that one man. So we didn't really need boots on the ground. But when they shifted the war over into Iraq, I was like, what? This is not about going after this one guy that supposedly was behind all of this that happened here in America on 9/11. So when was that moment for you?
So from what I'm reading from you, you've been down a lot of rabbit holes,
Yes,
as well. And
yes,
so
sir.
we're not going to go into too deep on that, because like I said, a baby step. So for me, September 23rd, 2015. I know the date in the year.
Okay.
September 3rd, 2015. And so when we talk about rabbit holes, yeah, you know, we could talk about the big ones, right? The CERN, D-Wave, Mandela effect, you know, politics, right? Selected presidents, Nephilim bloodline, who are they? How prominent are they? We could talk about child trafficking. We could talk about what's that? God, I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry, Michelle. The lady that has the things with all the celebrities where they eat the people. What's her name? Well, I'm so bad with names. Sorry. But you know, so many rabbit holes that I've gone down and dived into, and I've used concernment, and I'm not, you know, brainwashed, you know, false flags, hoaxes, and there's a difference between those two. What's going on with the school shootings? What's going on with the, you know, all the bombings? I mean, and then you talked about, you know, going into, you know, Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, you know, there's whole nother rabbit hole. And so for me, it's I need to, you know, we could definitely talk offline about where we're at on these things.
Sure.
But definitely it's going to be overwhelming. And I think that the one thing I've learned through doing this, because I used to talk to friends and so forth about this before I even thought about even going online, is that when I start going all over the place, they get that deer in the headlight looks, and they would come overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And the other thing too I need to realize is that how it affected me once I put all the pieces together. Once I put all the pieces of the puzzle together and saw the huge picture, and it's not just the ME, it's not just the false flag, it's not just CERN, D-Wave, you know, all the things we mentioned about, and many more that we haven't even touched on, time travel, dimension, you know, the alien deception. I mean, I go on and on and on and on and on. But when I put all those pieces together, Michelle, how it affected me, I need to be understanding that it's going to be my responsibility on when I bring all of this together on how it affects people, because people are affected by we'll just take the Mandela effect for instance, you know, and how people are affected on that and how it devastates some of their lives within their family, within their friends, within their workplace, on how they look at living their lives. That's just one. And I love the way you mentioned tool, because that's one of the things I always mention too, Michelle, is it's one tool in the tool bag, one tool. But so when you start adding a Mandela effect to other things like 9/11 or uh, the Nephilim bloodline, or add it to something else, it becomes more intense. And then you add another piece of the puzzle. It's going to be very overwhelming for many people, especially if they're still unable to get past one tool in the tool bag, the Mandela effect, or they can't get past
Right.
false flags, and they can't even comprehend the Mandela effect because they're so stuck on the false flag part of it. And so that is going to be the key, I think, that I need to realize on that as I bring these out, on how to help them handle it, because it definitely affected me beyond just one piece of the puzzle. If that makes sense.
Yes, I've invited Simba to come on in and join us. So she should be popping in. So, but continue with sharing. I mean, you're the information that is being put out by so many different people is so helpful and beneficial that will help other people come along. And that's part of the reason why, after 17 years of silence and being an observer, I decided, you know what, I just need to suck it up, get over these fears of being on camera or how I sound and all that, because the message is way bigger than me. The message is for everybody. And, I have much appreciation for content creators. It is a lot of work, a lot of learning, and it's growing, and I gauge it by the response of the people that are, coming into this, that are possibly being benefited by hearing synchronicities, of similar things that we all go through. And it's just wonderful. I mean, the way you're laying out the things that you've been through, I'm just going synchronicity, synchronicity, synchronicity. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. So yeah, so on your channel, you basically, you kind of go down a few of the rabbit holes, but that's not what your channel's about. It's more about growing and understanding and seeing. Yeah,
and by no means did I come on here to promote my channel, because one thing, I don't care about subs. I don't care about any of that. I'm just as happy sitting in the chat room talking
than the streams. Yes.
And so yeah, I am starting, Michelle, to branch out more and more into these rabbit holes I've been down. But like I said, you won't know what you're gonna get. It might just be a total roast night where we're just laughing at each other and making fun of each other. Sure. There might be nights where we're just in total prayer for people that need prayers. Or we might do scriptures, or I'm starting to do more and more of a planned event as far as like a topic. But for the most part, it's been just more of a place for people to come, and we'll come up with a topic once we get in there, and we don't know what it is. I mean, I've done a one on flat Earth. There's another whole rabbit hole. But that wasn't even really planned to do flat Earth. And
yeah,
so,
when did that come into the picture? Wasn't that about the same time as the Mandela effect? I mean, this weird stuff all like kind of hit us all at once. It's like, what?
Right. I mean, so there's so many rabbit holes, and that, to me, it's like, what, I've gone on flat Earth channels, and to me, it's like, for me, it all points to one thing. Okay, no matter what I do, and doesn't matter if it's a scriptural night, a prayer night, a false flag night, Nephilim night, D-Wave CERN. I don't care what the topic is, or if there's no topic at all and we're just roasting each other and making fun of the way we sound and talk and what we say. Doesn't matter.
That's where I'll fit in.
Yeah, because you know what? We're all brothers and sisters of Christ. And the point is that I like to always lead it to salvation in Christ. And so, you know, some people.
He's the one that brought me through it. So you know, but I don't. The thing that I'm learning though is that there's so many people from different cultures that they're coming through it also. But Christ is who, you know, I know that's who I was seeking. That's who's brought me through it. And one thing, let me say this real quick. Simba, I've already told you to come on in. We're ready for you now. We got about another maybe 10 minutes because that means we'll have went an hour and a half. But my goodness, do we have some interesting people coming on, and I'm totally enjoying this. Okay. Go on, Cowboy. Sorry.
Okay, so go ahead and get in here, Simba, and I'll not cut out. So just my last point was like, you know, what you know the Mandela effect community, and you know they go into a lot of the scripture changes, and that gets biblical, right? But you know, a lot of people are like, well, what does a false flag or a hoax have to do with salvation? Or what does you know the fact that your vote doesn't count? You know, and your the presidents are selected, not elected. You know, skulls and bones, Illuminati. You know, I mean, so to me, they're all important, and they all have to do with salvation and deception and division. Black Lives Matters. You know, I mean, I can go on and on and on, but it's all, you know, guns or no guns. Shall we have guns or not guns? I mean, we go on and on. It's all division. And
divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer. Absolutely. Absolutely. But at the end of it, who's at the top of the pyramid? Well, it's not the one that we serve. Right? He's not the one, or at least I serve. Yet all those sides on all those bricks in that pyramid are all part, you know, of that ladder leading people the wrong way. And so we have to like put it all together so that people can understand that like that does matter. You know, those things do matter. And I need to be aware of it. AIs, right? That's a whole new thing. I mean, like I said, Michelle, I've got 100 topics. And so I've been through them all. But I probably took up too much time. So yeah.
No, you're fine. If you were brought to it, you'll be brought through it.
Yeah.
Right?
So right. And so it's gonna be touchy and baby steps that I'm doing now on this. And so we'll see where it goes, and hopefully it will go well. You know, and again, there's gonna be nights that you can be pretty much nothing but laughter. Because you know what? So many serious topics. You know, some of the streams I do is because like all week long there's so many serious topics and it just loads you down. You know, some nights you just need a laugh. You just need to laugh and have fun. You know, and be with your community that we've developed on YouTube, because they're all brothers and sisters, and we're there. You know, I'm sure that Michelle, you can go online anytime and you'll see the same people there. And if you go on somebody else's stream, you'll see the same people there, because we're all
connected.
We're all connected, right?
Okay, it looks like Simba's joined us.
All right, well, welcome, Simba. I'll go ahead and
somebody needs to mute their stream or mute their Cowboy, you have any final parting shots before you step out?
Well, I'm just like I said, I mean, everything points to salvation. So Jesus Christ is our Savior. Look to Him, and through Jesus Christ and our Savior and God, all things are possible. And you know, never. We have many brothers and sisters that need prayers in our community, and don't forget our brothers and sisters within our community, and pray for them as well.
Amen.
Thank you for having me on, Michelle. Nice to
Thank you.
talk with you, Simba.
Thank you
And
for
I'll go
coming
ahead and
so
jump
much.
off and let Simba take it away.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you. Can you hear me well? I don't know if it's working.
Yes, you're coming through 5 by 5. Go ahead and
Awesome.
introduce yourself, and let's hear a little bit about what's going on with you, Simba. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Simba. I'm 21 years old, by the way. I noticed a lot of people in the chat are a bit older, and I have been introduced to spirituality and all of this this topic is relatively new to me. It's been about 2 years, and I've had lots of experiences since then. And I found you through Shane, by the way. It's been awesome to be on your channel and to be on Shane's channel.
He is amazing. I love him so much.
Yes. So basically, I really got into the topic in 2016. That's when it really started. And then after some time, just doing some casual meditations, I wasn't really going very deep, more so being in a meditative state. I experienced an activation that ever since expanded. So it was like in the beginning, just lucid dreams, very vivid dreams. And then I started to see auras as well. I only see them
Really?
faintly. I don't see all the rainbow colors and all of that cool stuff, but I've seen quite some stuff. And yes, it's
Isn't that
amazing.
beautiful? It's beautiful. I have to have a white background to see them, and what I do is those paintings that where you kind of have to relax your eyes and then you can see the image. I do
Yes.
that by not making eye, because we're so accustomed to making eye contact with each other when we talk to one another. But what I do is I focus in the middle, like in here, and I relax my eyes, and then I just allow the colors just to
Yes.
radiate from them. It's beautiful. If that helps you at all with advancing that gift, use it. It's a tool. It's a tool I use. So, it might work for you, it might not, but
Yeah.
that's awesome. Tell more. Let's hear more about that.
So in the very beginning, when I had these lucid dreams and all, I started feeling energy on the very top of the crown. It's like there's something tingling, and you can feel sensations like a movement going on. And soon after, I would also see orbs like in the air, flying, or just little flashes of light. Like there's presence, there's energy, and you can see it. And after about 6 months is when I started seeing energy on people's crowns who would just walk by. I don't know why. Would be the crown, and it would always be either white or gold, depending on the person. And I've also seen purple sparks on people's crowns. So that has been very interesting.
I see
And
purples, pinks, greens, blues. It's awesome. I love it. And
yeah,
have
uh,
you been practicing on Shane when he goes live? Because he radiates the colors so clearly. They're easy to see on him. Just
do
wondering.
you see it visually through the camera? I mean, through the screen?
Yes. Yes. I can see them
Uh,
in people in person, and I can see them actually through the screen. Now, like with me using the green screen technology, when people are using that stuff, I don't see them.
yes.
But when like he's got that white background and he's standing there, he just glows. And then I did an interview with the lady, and the interview she would pull it in when I pointed it out and made her nervous. She pulled it in,
Yes.
and then as she was relaxing and she was talking about something that she knew that was from her heart, I saw the greens, and then I saw, or the blues are your throat. So, and then I saw blues, and then purples are things that she knows through her heart. And it just,
That
yeah,
is amazing.
it is amazing. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't paid too much attention to that yet, but I will in future. Yes, it's been mainly on people who were near. So yeah, that would definitely be on the crown. And I've some people have more radiant auras. Mostly I see it more clear, like something extending from the back when someone's walking by, or like a white halo around them. And I've seen golden one time. There was like this girl that had like a very bright golden aura on her whole torso, and it would
Wow.
go up the shoulders and then also the crown, which looks a bit like a cone. If you took a cone upside down and you put it on the crown, that's kind of what the crown aura looks like, how I see it. But it's also moving, it's bending
You
when
know
the
the
person walks.
the paintings that are depicted like with Christ and stuff, where it shows that golden around his head.
Yes.
It just makes you think. We think of that as like this halo, but he could have been radiating these beautiful colors because of who he is, what he knew, the abilities
Yes.
that were within him. So I am planning on doing one on that, about these paintings that are depicted of like saintly people, and what that could possibly actually be, and that the abilities of us being able to see ourselves, the morphogenetic fields that are around us are becoming more, or getting the ability to be able to see those things. And it's a gift.
Definitely.
It's another gift that's being like stirred up within each and every one of us. It's beautiful.
Yes. It's amazing. I've also seen my own aura. Usually I'd see orange and blue, like a light blue and a bright orange. Those have been two colors that I would always see with my physical eyes. And also, very often when I close my eyes, when I just go into a meditative state, I just feel tingling around the whole body and just like waves rushing through. I'm also curious about your experience. Did you have any um particular profound experiences through meditation, or ever since you started your whole spiritual awakening journey?
Yes. Yes, I've had many. Many. I'm trying to put the content out there of, but I'm pretty shy about abilities, because one of the things here with this channel is I'm trying to lead people back to themselves. If
Yes.
anything, I want them to find synchronicities in what I'm saying, but I want to lead them back to themselves. Seek ye the kingdom of heaven within, and all else will be added.
Definitely.
Because there's nothing that I can do that everybody can't do from themselves, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I throw out a rope. It's up to people whether or not they want to, grab it. But that's what it's about. I know I would have enjoyed coming across somebody talking about these things when I was going through this, and I didn't understand. I know that in the Bible it talks about the gifts, but I was operating in so many. I was like, wait. Something's not right here. Something's going on. And so it definitely, I used the Bible as my tool to get through, but I didn't have a format like this, or there's several others doing the same thing. And I think it's absolutely wonderful, because if I don't resonate with somebody, maybe somebody that I interview does, and then they can, because it's all about the growth. It's all about the understanding. It's all about knowing that there's nothing going on within me or even within you that is not going on within so many people right now. And even in the Bible, it
Exactly.
says all will be reconciled, and the Spirit will be poured out on all flesh. All means all. So it's just an amazing time to be alive.
It
So,
is.
yeah. So yes, yes. Please continue. You're very interesting. Everybody that's come on
Yeah.
tonight has been really, really interesting, and I do appreciate you guys getting brave enough to come on, randomly and just
Mhm.
share your stories. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. You actually got me running more than an hour and a half, so we'll give you about another 5 minutes, because then if they're too long, people won't come back and rewatch. But
Right. I came in a bit late.
that's okay. That's okay. No, you came in exactly right, because
Okay.
Cowboy was still talking. But yeah, I sent you the message. But a lot of times people don't have their email open or they're paying attention to the show and not looking at their email. So it's all good. Everything works out for a reason.
Yes.
So
Um.
what else you got going on besides feeling those I want to ask you a question. Do
Yes.
you hear the ringing in your ears? And if so, do you feel the differences when it's an energetic, like from the stirring from within you, where that sound comes through your ears, like maybe you're going to astro jump or astro project or in dream state or wake state, versus the frequencies that we hear with the ringing in our ears? Do you have any of those type of experiences going on with you?
Yes and no, because I've kind of had both. I have not had as much ringing in the ears, but often when I would go to sleep just before astral traveling or going into a lucid dream, I would hear a ringing in the ears. But it's often hard to tell whether the ringing that's going on during the day is actually from just something in the body or if it's actually a spiritual connection. But yes.
Right. And when
Um,
you lay down to go to sleep, as your bed shaked, or I'm learning now to discern that I'm not having a little earthquake. I'm going on a voyage.
mhm,
So, and I had to get over the fear of that, because we go through the sleep paralysis part and stuff. What that means is we're outside of our body, and we're roaming around,
true.
but we get scared, and then we'll go immediately back to our body and we'll wake ourselves up. Once you get past that fear, and then you learn how that I even though I knew I couldn't turn on a light switch, I was still reaching for doorknobs.
Yes.
That's how real it is. But then I'm like, no, I can just walk through that. So then I had sessions where I went through windows and walls, and the ceiling was a little difficult for me, but watching my stuff, because my mind was thinking, I can't go through the ceiling. I got to go through the roof, then I got to go through the ceiling and all that, everything in between. And but the
Right.
rules don't apply there. I mean, when you realize that's where you're at. Now I try lifting myself up off the ground, or I glide, or I fly, and it's just absolutely amazing. At the same time, I'm observing. I'm observing because there's a purpose why I'm there. Something I'm supposed to glean from the situation that I am either observing, partaking in, or something. There's a reason that I'm there.
Definitely. Yeah, I've also been experiencing that. You get the best experiences out of those dreams, either or astral projection experiences. And the sleep paralysis is also something that I've been feeling. It happens when you go to sleep and you're about to pop out of your body. You might feel like you're getting stuck, or it's like all of a sudden it's like you cannot access your physical body, but you're still in it, and then you don't know what to do.
Right.
And
Right.
another thing I would say, if you feel like you're stuck and you're freaking out about it, you can always ask for help, and it always works. So you can try talking to your guides or God or whatever force that you think will help you
Holy
figuring this
Spirit, guardian
out.
angels.
Yes,
We are, and that's another thing, Simba. I feel that we are being divinely helped. We have to
exactly.
ask. We have to ask. I think there's some kind of a non-interference clause, and that's why we're told to seek,
Mhm.
knock. press through, because there's a non-interference clause, and I think that they're there. They're called watchers, and they can only help us if we ask. And
Yes.
yeah, and when I felt that unconditional love, I know that that was a being that was coming close to me, and what radiated off of them was so much unconditional love. And then as they were, withdrawing, I could have stayed in that forever, forever. But that is what we are becoming. We're becoming unconditional love. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yes. I see it as God accessing itself. In a way, it's like a self-realization, realizing that you have God within you as well. And it's not an outside force. It's like we are it as well as it is us.
Right. Can't be separated from God when He gives us
Yes.
the breath of life. If we have the breath of life in us, then that's God, breath that animated these avatars that we're in. So yeah, we're much more than we've ever thought we were, and it's a beautiful understanding. I'm really happy that you're so young and coming into this understanding and moving along so well. I mean,
Yeah.
wow, because we're limitless. I just wish I was much younger when this all started happening, but it happens when it happens. And another thing I've noticed is people seem to be looking younger. Like as they're going through this process, they look younger.
I've noticed that too. Yes.
Okay, so that's good. I love the synchronicities. I'm having so many synchronicities with everybody that's come on tonight. It's absolutely wonderful. Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, if you're interested, if you're not too shy, I do interviews with people. Anybody that wants to come on and do an interview, which would be 1 hour, then, email me that too. And we'll schedule interviews with people where it's just, one-on-one for the full hour, where you can share what you know so others can listen and grow. It's just an amazing time to be alive. Do you have any last words? Because I'm about to zip it up. We've been going for 1 hour and 45 just about. So it's a long show for me. I usually
Yes.
I'm an hour flower.
Last words. I would say question your beliefs and try out new things. It's really good to try out things that you have not done before, because often you get stuck in the belief that you cannot do something because you've never really been able to, or you have never tried. But if you try, you will see that things may just be much easier than you have believed them to be. You just have to convince your mind, show your mind that it's actually possible and it's actually easy. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. That was a
Thank
great
you.
way to end the show tonight. And guys, it looks like I will be doing this once a week on Saturdays. This went very, very nicely. I have enjoyed everybody that's come on. Such beautiful people. Oh my gosh, unconditional love is just, it's beyond comprehension.
Yes, you have amazing people in your chat.
Yeah, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell. I notice when I go live, it takes sometimes up to 15 minutes before people get notified. Even when I have hit the bell on people, it takes up to 15 minutes after they go live for me to even be notified that they're live. It's frustrating. But
Yes.
I'm
You have to
gonna-
click on the reminder.
I do click on the reminder, and it still does that. But what I'm going to do on this format is I'm going to schedule it, and so that each week we're going to know what time to meet up. So that way everybody will just know, and that will make it much easier for people that are wanting to come on and share what they know and do their 5 minutes. And this is the second one that I've done. And I'm glad we got transmissions forever on. He sent an email right as I closed up last time. I am so honored by everybody who has come to support this channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share what you know. Listen so we can grow. Peace, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.